Hey there everybody, Parks Owsley here at the Esports One headquarters in Santa Monica. I just had the privilege of meeting with Apollo from Echo Fox and Cody Sun from Clutch Gaming. We broke down the LCS playoffs, talked about the matches that already happened, the quarterfinals, talked about the matches coming up, the semifinals. Be sure to check that out. And before we get into it, we actually have a fun little quiz, a stats-based quiz for these guys to kind of see how well they know this game that they're playing. So we're gonna do just a couple funny ones, some troll ones real quick. So these we can just speed through. Okay. They're really not important.
Those other ones were though.
Those were very important, and I think you only got one right. So, yeah. No, wait, no, you got two right.
Yeah, we're both 1-1. Yeah, we're both 1-1.
Oh yeah, wait, this is actually a competition.
Oh, really?
I mentioned it earlier. I didn't tell you guys. These guys are competing right now, so
okay. Well,
you actually should stop. Don't group think anymore.
No collab.
We're going in tied. No more collab.
Kind of forgot that we're.
I totally flubbed on that one, but yeah, we actually have a trophy for you.
Okay. So it's real intense right now.
So you should actually be feeding false information to the other guy.
Gotcha.
Starting this second. Okay, so how many times did Nidalee get played this season in the top 5 regions?
What? Oh, like all of them include?
Yeah. Top 5 regions. Give me like a range. I'll tell you it's less than 50.
All of the regions, like you can.
The 5 major. So like Europe, NA, China, Korea, and LMS.
So I give you a range.
I'm going with 5.
Wait, what? You're going with 5?
Yes.
5 total plays. What are you thinking?
All right, I'm gonna say 8.
8? Y'all, it's like I think it's literally 9. It's 9.
Oh, I was close.
But only 5 were played in, like 5 were all in the LMS. So if you want to only include the top 4, then it is 5. But I'm gonna give it to him because I just said all 5. But yeah, Nidalee is kind of officially dead.
This
so
game
Riot,
sucks.
if you can, there's still like 4 more. You've got a chance. You can big brain it.
Yeah. So they're all in the LMS basically.
Yeah, it was like half of them in the LMS, and then like 3 in the LPL, and like 1 LEC.
Okay.
And that's it, or something. Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember a single game in NA, so.
Yeah, pretty sad. I want to see some Nidalee games. Fun to watch. Bring back Mike Young's Nidalee, or something.
Oh, I remember.
A Rush. Yeah, bring back Rush's Nidalee. How much more popular is the Riot Games Twitch channel than Tyler 1 in the last year?
How much more popular?
Yeah, so like
what are we basing
like 2 times more popular, just in total views. Like 2 times more popular, like 10 times more popular.
Oh my god.
It is definitely more popular though.
How do I get this number?
Just got to pull it out of a hat somewhere.
I have to let you
want me to go first? Yeah, I'll go first. I'm gonna go with 4.2.
4.20.
I was just gonna say 3 times. There's no.
It is 3 times.
Nice. Yes.
Making it work. Tying it back
decimals.
up. So yeah, Tyler 1 needs to be 3 times better at his job.
Yes.
If he wants to catch up to
He's not
Riot.
making enough money as it is.
No, he's really not.
No way.
Hashtag alpha in the chat for Tyler 1. Actually beta. Hashtag beta for losing. Okay. Most picked champion in the LCS with 0 wins. This split. Which champion was picked that never won? I won't make you guess how many times. Actually, I'll tell you. 9 times.
Wait. I know it. I know the answer.
He's like, wait.
Yeah, I know it. I'm not going to say it though.
Okay.
Wait, or do you want, just tell me when you have an answer.
Okay.
I know it.
I can't. It's so hard to think.
It's a jungler.
I know it.
Is that you have a jungler in mind?
Yes, I have a 100% win rate on my guess. Can I say it now?
Yeah, go for it.
It's Olaf.
Yep.
Oh, I almost guessed
9 games. Olaf had 9 games, 0 wins.
Yeah.
I think people
It did really well in Academy. It did really well in the LCK. It did really well in the LEC. And I remember always looking at the stat when someone picked it. It was like, oh. Good year, you lost.
Yeah. Nice. Free wins. All right, so on the flip side, most picked champion without a loss. At 5 games.
Without a loss?
Mm-hmm. This one actually I think might be wrong. I'm going to skip this.
Does it include playoffs?
I think this is wrong. I think it's actually for Academy and I have it
incorrect.
I'm going to skip that. I'm skipping that.
What was the...
It was Kindred, which I feel like is
That's not right.
They played more. Yeah, I think that was actually. I think that may have been for playoffs specifically.
We also lost with Kindred.
Oh, and no, not in playoffs.
Oh, not in playoffs.
Yeah, I think that was a playoff specific stat, but I forgot to write.
Oh yeah, sorry. Never mind, you're right.
Everyone forget the last 10 seconds. All right, sweet. We chrono braked back.
Okay.
Cool, yeah. So Olaf has played 9 times. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's they didn't win.
Sneaky is the most popular LCS pro on Twitch. Can you guess who is second?
Debatable. Oh.
Most popular in terms of views.
Second?
Can you guess who's
in
second
LCS?
in the LCS for the last, I think it was either 6 months or a year, but.
Wait, so what do you mean most popular? Views?
Like, yeah, just
Everything.
views. Or, no, sorry. Followers. Most popular in terms of following.
I mean, wait. Isn't it just...
I'll go with Doublelift.
I was going to say Bjergsen.
It's not actually Bjergsen. It's not Doublelift either. It's Froggen.
Whoa.
What?
Froggen has like 300k or something. Doublelift has a little bit less than that.
How much was Bjergsen's?
Bjergsen actually, so only 4 were in the top 50.
Okay.
Bjergsen wasn't in the top 50 at all. It was Froggen was second. Doublelift was pretty close behind, so it was a good guess. And then Afro was right behind Doublelift.
Wow, that's crazy. Froggen has so many viewers.
Yeah, Froggen. Really, I don't know. I guess because he took some time off and did streaming.
He did a lot of streaming, yeah.
And so did Doublelift, so those two are at the top.
That makes sense.
What was Ezreal's win rate delta after the 9.6 double tier removal? So, or how much did it drop?
Oh, like in competitive?
In competitive. No, sorry. In solo queue.
In solo
how
queue?
muue did Ezreal's win
queue?
rate drop?
Oh, I feel like there was like a Reddit post about this, but I don't even know. I want to say 5%.
5%?
Yeah.
Wow. I'll go with 3%.
It was actually 0.9%.
Oh.
Less than 1. Less than 1%. Everyone was like, oh no.
Why? Yeah.
I'm closer.
Yeah, you're definitely closer.
Yeah. I feel like he's been closer twice because that and the Doublelift.
Okay.
So this is the last one. Actually, wait, no, that was the last one. Yeah, so I'm going to give it to Cody.
Okay.
But before we go, we have a tiny mini game. And
Okay.
then I'll give him his trophy.
Okay.
But I want to recall your pentakill that you got in your last game.
Oh,
Okay.
Can you name the champions you killed in order?
Can you
I'll list you the champions.
Okay.
Top was Nico, jungle was Rek'Sai, mid was Zoe, and then Lucian and Thresh were bot.
Damn it. Who died?
Who died? All of them.
Who do we know? Oh, okay. I know. Okay. It's not 100% sure on the. Wait, who's the mid? Zoe, right?
Zoe, yeah.
Shoot. Okay. The 1 and 2 is what's gonna lose me this, but it's fine. It's Nico, Thresh, Zoe, Rek'Sai, Lucian.
The 1 and 2 messed you up.
It
was Thresh and Nico.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. I mean,
that was good. So was the Penta. It was also good.
Yeah, I mean, it was just me killing everybody. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't outplaying anybody. I was just a jinx.
The late game jinx.
Yeah.
The tower dive was fun.
That was fun.
I'm glad that it worked out. Unlike
me too.
Cloud 9
when they try to dive our Morgana.
Yeah. All right, so we have this trophy and also a T-shirt.
It's mine.
Okay. Apollo has intercepted. He was like, "It's my Penta trophy."
Congrats. No, it's okay, man. It's I didn't deserve it.
Cody's so nice. You don't have to hold it the whole time though.
I want one.
But you can.
It's okay.
So before we get into the we're gonna review the matches that just happened, and then kind of talk about like some of the things that went well and some that didn't. Kind of maybe some things that changed the series, because I think in a best of 5, obviously it's very different than a best of 1. So it's like if this thing happens in game 1 and we can't deal with it, we have to either figure out how to deal with it, which is hard, or we just have to ban it, which maybe that changes the strategies you have.
Right.
So we'll break down some of that stuff. First, though, I want to say everyone go over to Twitter because I want to see what you think is going to be the winners for the semis. So which 2 teams are going to be in the final? We're doing a Twitter poll because we don't have it set up on Twitch right now. So it'll be under the Esports One Twitter, which is in the overlay at the bottom at Esports One Inc. So they're putting up a poll right now. Just go vote. And then at the end of our conversation, we'll see if their votes kind of correlate with what you guys say when we talk about the semifinals a little bit later. So we don't give your answers now, though, because they need to be unbiased.
Okay.
Their own silver analyst brain.
I was just thinking about my answers.
So yeah, we have like all the different combinations. And who do you think will be in the finals? All right, now that that's done, we are going to review the matches from this weekend. First, we'll start with FlyQuest and Golden Guardians. I'll ask you to do a little bit more maybe on the Xbox side. And so if you want to just kind of, because we don't have to talk about this too long, so I'll let you kind of talk a little bit more about it. And then if you have obviously things on the FlyQuest Golden Guardians game, obviously you can speak up. First, I think I want to talk about the picks that they used. I talked to Ole after the game, and he was like, "Yo, we both teams were picking Lissandra the whole time, and it had 0 wins," which is weird because then obviously in the TSM game, Bjergsen was picking it and doing well. But do you feel like there were any kind of drafting issues or kind of meta things that were off on that series? I don't have
wait, what did they counterpick Lissandra with? Do you remember? Like
Vel'Koz. And I think maybe the first game was Karthus. Yeah, first game was Karthus. They counterpicked it. Other game was Vel'Koz. I don't remember a lot of the other picks, but it was. I think Vel'Koz might have came out twice as well. But I remember the first game specifically where they're picks and bans, and then when they picked Lissandra, I'm like, okay, Froggen plays Karthus.
Yeah. That's nasty.
And then they pick like a full poke comp with Urgot jungle. But yeah, I don't really remember too. I mean, I think Lissandra. I mean, just to throw out a series like in a best of 5 series, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like, these champions are meta, so we need to play them, right? Like, you just figure out what's going to be good. Like, for example, in our series, Kindred was randomly just banned throughout the entire thing, right? And I don't think Kindred's necessarily OP. It's just, these guys were doing well with it, we need to ban it. Or like on TSM side as well, it's like these guys are just spamming Rek'Sai, Lissandra because they're winning with it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's like, every game is going to be Rek'Sai or Lissandra from now on. It just means that it's working well into the team that they're playing against. And so the FlyQuest game specifically, or FlyQuest series, the priority of Varus kept getting higher and higher. Because, one player is playing Varus really well, both players are playing Varus really well, and definitely answers with Lucian every time. And Lucian was just useless. So, I mean, that's just kind of how it works, right?
Both of them didn't have like a good counter to it for Varus.
Yeah, because they played Kog'Maw, I think, too, right?
Yeah, they played Kog'Maw, and then they were like, I think did they pick Kai'Sa too? Yeah,
they picked Kai'Sa.
I think they picked Kai'Sa and the Varus too.
That was definitely
picked it.
And then they just like I think both. Or like I know FlyQuest prioritized Braum really heavily too for their bot lane, and then like Ole felt really uncomfortable on Galio, I think. So like it didn't really matter that you have like a stronger support against the Braum, and then you have like a Kai'Sa or something to like scale better. So I think it just made it so like you just have to pick the best like priorities AD carry, which is Varus, and then just pair it with like Braum.
Yeah.
Because it's like both sides of the bot lane just played better with those 2 champs. So
I also think like Varus is kind of not like fully snowball champion, but he like more excels in lane phase.
Yeah.
And you having like a champion like Braum kind of like
lets him scale better.
Yeah, lets him scale a lot better because that's kind of Varus' struggles was, especially like in team fights. It's kind of hard for you team fight really well if you don't have a Braum.
Especially if you're against a Talon.
Yeah, or against or a Rengar.
Yeah.
Or a Zed.
Yeah, one of those
Thankfully, we can remove those champions with their match.
And you don't have a Braum too.
Luckily, the genie of Shurima
took those away. But yeah, I agree. I think the bot lane was definitely one of the more important things, especially with the Varus picks and even the support picks. Like you said, the Galio was starting to you can kind of contrast it between our series. Galio was looking really good in our series compared to in their series.
Exactly.
It didn't really look as good, right?
I think Galio, it really depends on how you play with it, because most of his strength comes from the first 15 minutes of the game, where he's he can get lane prio, he can skirmish well, does a lot of early game damage.
He has a global ulti.
Yeah, he has a global ulti. But if in that first 15 minutes you're not able to use him to his strengths, then he really falls off super hard.
Compared to a Braum.
Yeah, compared to a Braum.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I feel like I thought the bot lane draft was also a little weird because I did never pick Draven, which you would think maybe at one point, because you don't have an answer to Varus, and I get maybe it's not good.
Well,
y'all are both AD carries, so y'all can tell me.
Technically, Varus is an answer to Draven, in my opinion. It's
yeah. For the past
Oh yeah, that's true. It's true. In my silly games as well.
Yeah.
The Draven pinch.
He could have. What other could have they played into? Oh yeah, actually, I think technically Tristana is not a bad matchup into Varus.
Oh, that's what I picked.
Oh.
That's what I picked into your Varus.
Yeah.
Does that not? Why would that have not been chosen?
Because they didn't practice Tristana.
Yeah. I think
also Xayah is getting into Varus.
I think they Xayah is a really good pick. I really like that matchup too. Yeah, but they were probably scarred from just Tristana too.
Yeah, I think
happens a lot.
Yeah, happens a lot.
All right, so we can move on
further than that.
We can move on from the bot lane. We were discussing the mic cut out for a sec. We were discussing the bot lane picks that could have and maybe not been picked because Varus had so much priority. So Draven apparently not the best, which I thought, but I'm bad. I just can't play against Draven, so it's always the best for me.
Yeah, I mean, I hate Draven. Don't get me wrong.
Draven, we should put him on the list.
Oh yeah, he's on the list.
Remove.
No, for sure he's on my list. 100%. He is on my list of removing. I don't care about Rengar. I don't care about Zed. I don't care about Talon. If Draven is not in League of Legends, it makes my life and career so much easier.
All right. We're removing Draven then.
I'm going to talk to Ryder.
Sorry. Yeah, we'll let them know. So I think Game 4 also is kind of a weird game because they FlyQuest got super far ahead with a random Karthus jungle, which we haven't you wouldn't expect Santorin necessarily to play that because he's he was the biggest kind of skill matchup variance with contracts for those two teams. And then he locked Karthus, and my immediate reaction was why are you locking this champ that just kind of sits and farms and doesn't do much until 40 minutes or 30 minutes into the game? You're super great aggro, you're very important for your team, do something that's useful. And then he had 90 something farm, and contracts only had 40. Yeah. And so it's oh, never mind. Apparently Santorin is good on Karthus, and something happened that made it work. But then after that, they like gave up a free Baron. They gave up a free
it was
Elder.
A sloppy win. A sloppy closing.
And that was match point, and that was after like the Karthus late game champ got way far ahead, and then
was that match point?
Yeah, they were 1-2 in game 4.
FlyQuest you're saying? Oh, sorry, yeah, gotcha.
So it was match point. Like you don't want to be sloppy.
Yeah.
What kind of? I don't know how closely you watched that game, but what do you feel like? Like how does that happen in a game where you have this ginormous lead and you give up free objectives? It was as if they didn't even realize the Baron was coming up.
Yeah, I mean, well, like giving a Baron and Elder like for free, you know, we've seen that strategy before. But
just a few times.
Yeah.
And how do you think that works out?
They still got the win, but.
I mean, yeah, I actually watched that game, and well, first off, a lot of the fights were a little bit sloppy. Like, I can't recall like specific moments, but I do remember it just being like a little bit sloppy. And I mean, just giving up the objectives thing, yeah, they were all just really greedy or like not very disciplined with the recalls. So that's pretty much just what happened. I'm pretty sure I just remember them recalling late, and then they went to go take Elder, or they went to go take Elder or Baron, and then they just went to go take the other one after because they couldn't contest him. So
definitely, and
it was just kind of weird.
As I think, who was it? Someone says in the cast all the time, they got caught with their pants down. It was definitely awkward. They ended up still getting.
Captain Flower says that.
The win, yeah. So, I think it's pastry.
Okay, pastry time.
But I think I hear it in an Australian voice. But they got the win. They got the series. So we'll get to see more from them. We can talk about them a little bit in a second. I want to talk about Echo Fox since I have you.
I remember that game.
We can go super quick through it because I know it's. No, you don't. Maybe don't want to get all the way.
It's a touchy subject, Barks.
Yeah, it probably is. It's like picking at a wound that hasn't fully healed.
I just got over it. Personally, like emotionally,
It's like, oh, how's the breakup going?
Yeah.
It was 2 days ago, man. But basically, I just want to talk about like, do you feel like in hindsight there are some tools that maybe you had that you didn't utilize? That's kind of like, after game 3, we really should have brought this out, or we drafted this game with kind of a mindset and. We shouldn't have had that mindset because we had like other things, or it wouldn't work against TSM or something like that.
I mean, for the most part, I felt like our picks and bans were pretty solid. I never really felt like, oh man, they really got the best of us in this draft. If I ever look back, I think we could have maybe tried to have more priority on Varus, especially after we did well with it in game 1. But in my mind, it wasn't like the reason why we were doing well. And even in the next few games, it felt like I was still doing well with my picks, like the Jinx and the Kog'Maw matchups. We were both doing really well, and we just had the main reason why we started losing wasn't necessarily because of the picks, was just because we weren't really disciplined enough in our fights, or we just chose the wrong battles. And so yeah, I mean, at least in my mind, I never felt like the picks and bans were bad. And that's not to say that I'm sure we could have had better pick ban, right? Like, if you want like have draft Nirvana or something, but I never really worried about that, and I think it was just more important that we were just given the draft, and we should have just played well, and we didn't.
Yeah. Bummer. The win's more important.
Yeah.
I asked you already, but the chat probably doesn't know. Something that was kind of floating around or buzzing around in the scene before the series was the Thresh pick, since both Smoothie and Hakuo play Thresh really well. They're two of the best Threshes in the league. Why was that not prioritized, do you think?
It's more, I mean, just in this meta right now, I don't think Thresh is like super OP. I think it's like a good champion, and there are also better picks with Thresh. Like, there are good AD carries that are paired with Thresh, and we didn't play those AD carries, or we didn't like prioritize those AD carries, right? So, and also just into like, and we just prioritized Braum more, basically. That's just how it came down to it. We weren't scared of Braum into Thresh, and we didn't really want to do Thresh into Galio because maybe that lane matchup can be fine. You can like potentially bully them out if you have like the correct AD carry, but if you don't snowball properly, then you have a Thresh instead of a Braum. And that's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the main reason.
LCS, it always comes down to the Braum pick.
Yeah. The Braum, yeah.
Yeah, because Braum is OP. Just kidding. I think it's, I mean, Braum we just prioritize it.
I think it's just NA.
Yeah, maybe literally anything.
It's the dirty team fights.
It's like the Braum versus Tomkench matchup. It's like,
would you rather have Braum or Tomkench?
Yeah, would you rather have Braum or Tomkench? Like, man, we don't know how to use Tomkench. Let's pick Braum.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can we utilize that ult? Nope. We can the Braum one. The Braum one, we got that.
Yeah. We know how to fight
that
with that.
That will always be useful. All right. Well, we'll touch on TSM in the next section because they're since they moved on, we can talk about them later.
Did they move on first?
It's a touchy subject. No, it's not touchy for me. I'm unbiased completely. Okay, no bias at all. So real quick though, before we get into the next kind of discussion, we have a real quick segment. We talked about Ezreal earlier. We're very sad about the 0.9% nerf that he got. Really
huge.
Just gutted this champion who's sitting at like a 56% win rate. We really want Sven to kind of get back and have his main in his hands again.
He plays Ezreal.
Actually, your Ezreal, I thought was the best last summer.
Oh, thank you so
Even
much.
Better than Sven's.
Keep it going, guys. I need more compliments.
Everyone, please compliment Apollo.
Wait,
I messed up and called out a different AD carry.
We'd never
it's a
well.
wrong decision. Anyway, the Apollo dude is really good at Ezreal, and we need to help him out a little bit. So we're going to design an item that only Ezreal can use, and it's completely busted.
Okay.
But anyone else that tried to buy this item, you'd like get called for trolling.
Okay.
And we're basically just replacing the double tier because Ezreal could do it, but pretty much no matter other than I can't English. Whoever else you're playing is really bad to go double tier. It's just dumb. Ezreal could do it. Now he can't. So we have to give him something else that he can be unique. He feels bad. So I've already designed an item.
With his 0.9.
With his 0.9% nerf, he's sad. I've already designed an item, so I'm going to show you guys that one first to kind of get us thinking. But then we're going to try and design one here, see if we can do it in like 3 minutes.
I have some ideas.
I think it's going to be tough.
I'm getting more ideas in my head as we talk.
We're preparing. So we've come up with 2 different kind of ways to do this. Since Ezreal is like one of the big high mobility champions, the safer AD carry, we figured we could try and buff him that way, make him more mobile, figure something out like that. So for that, we've got the GPS, the giant pogo stick. So he's going to be bouncing around. We're going to throw up an image for you because you probably can't see this very well. But, Ezreal bounces around a lot. We got to make him bounce around even more.
Okay.
And since he's an explorer, it's the GPS that he's always needed. So we have the giant pogo stick. The one that I designed is the sweatband of skill shots. And so, Ezreal has 3 skill shots. So we're going to help him out and help him utilize these skill shots more effectively.
Okay.
So the item that I designed, I will go ahead and show you. Let me scroll down here to my Ezreal item. So it gives you 50 AD, which is nice for Ezreal, 50 AP, which he likes, and 500 mana. So, we've already...
Wait, that's it?
That's it. No. So we've already kind of, eliminated some champs because most champs don't want both AD and AP.
Yeah.
So that was, I was thinking about that. And then it builds from Lost Chapter, so it has the haste thing, which the tier item did. So that's cool. We're right on track.
So this also gives 20% CDR.
It does. No, yeah. Sorry, I should have included that. It also gives 20% CDR.
Okay. So 50 AD, 50 AP. 500 mana. 500 mana and 20%
CDR.
Holy shit,
it's going to cost 3,400. Maybe more. Maybe my math is bad, but it's hovering close to like stats.
Archangel's was 2950. So that's where
Luden's I think is 32, 34, 30,
Luden's 32,
31. It's a little over.
Yeah. I want to say 32.
I think it's 32. So this one's a little bit more expensive, but it gives him literally everything he needs, and this is the passive on it.
Oh.
Here's where the sweatband of skill shots comes into play.
Okay.
Upon landing a skill shot, gain 3% movement speed for 3 seconds. Stacks to 5 times. When fully stacked, it's like a little Medjai's. When fully stacked, each skill shot deals 5% more damage and slows the enemy by 10% for 2 seconds.
Wait, this item is so broken. I'm gonna get this.
But okay, so it's definitely broken on Ezreal.
Okay, yeah.
And definitely worth the price.
I would definitely buy this for sure.
But who else could buy it? The real question is, could anyone else buy this and feel good?
Corki.
You think Corki? So it has to stack to 5 for it to be really nice.
Yeah, my rockets, boom, boom, boom.
So Corki was my one that was like maybe
Q,
this
R,
guy.
R, 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 R. This is my rocket.
But you can only use it really in like hard committed team fights for Corki.
Is E count as a... E doesn't count.
E doesn't count.
So you have to do...
And W doesn't count.
Q...
You have to hit your Q, and then you have to hit 4 ultimates.
Okay.
And it only lasts for 3 seconds, which means you have to use your ult almost on cooldown. So I still think it's kind of hard for Corki.
What about Kog'Maw E? Does that count as a skill shot?
Kog'Maw, yeah, but only like 1.
So Q, E, R, R,
Yeah.
R. Okay, that's too hard.
Maybe Cog, but probably not Cog.
Not Cog.
The other ones are all like AP champs. Like Syndra, you can spam Q, but
You have 50
you
AD.
have 50 AD.
Vel'Koz.
Vel'Koz, I thought about,
All
but
these
you have 50 AD.
So it's kind of
Xerath, I thought about, but you have the 50 AD. So, and you have to
honestly,
hit all of them, and then still it's
decided.
only 10% slow and 5% damage. So.
Okay.
To have the 50 AD, you probably don't want like, oh cool, you do 5% more damage, but
I agree with that. The 5% more damage is not like so big where you want to get it on.
But it's nice for Ezreal.
You did a really good job of creating this item, Parks.
Thanks, man.
I'm trying to think of someone that actually uses skill shots more often.
The other one I was thinking was Lucian, but it's.
You don't want.
I think the only way it's broken on Lucian is if each bullet on his ult counts. Because then you stack it immediately. You like enter a fight.
It's not even like a skill shot though.
Yeah. So I think if we say Lucian's ult is 1 skill shot, then he can't use the item.
Yeah.
If each bullet counted, then it would be broken on Lucian, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I mean, you're still having 50 AP on Lucian.
I might be good on a Kali.
I thought about that one.
Ooh,
I don't know if the Q counts.
What is Q?
Because the Q, the daggers, because technically it's like a conic thing. I looked it up. It might. If it did, then maybe.
You're hardcore.
But I think that would be the only other one. But I don't know if the Q actually counts.
That'd be pretty good on a Kali.
Yeah. We're gonna say the Q doesn't count, just so I can still be right.
Okay.
But now, are there any ways that we could buff the mobility that people like Akali and Lucian and some of these other people we called out wouldn't be totally busted?
Wait, if we can buff the mobility?
How could we make an item with like a similar passive as that? Like, let's say it has the same stats, because I feel like that's probably the best way to do the stats, because you need both.
So movement speed, mobility, but like, what I mean,
the passive, you mean?
Yeah. So how could we design a passive that gave like a lot of mobility, but didn't help like the Lucians, Graves, Akali?
It could give you like a movement speed boost,
like Phage.
Yeah, like Phage.
Like Phage.
After like 3 stacks, and it only works with Arcane Shift.
Literally just.
I was gonna say, what if you're like, when you're walking back, you get more movement speed?
Oh, so just for the kiting?
For kiting. Is that weird?
That's actually probably not a bad idea.
Like almost like an absurd amount of movement speed for when you're walking back.
So like the opposite of Vayne. Wait, but Vayne could actually really utilize that. Oh, but you have the AP.
Yeah.
So maybe Vayne doesn't want that. I feel like Vayne's item build is like pretty.
Vayne's item build is fine.
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't need this item.
She's fine with their 2-item power spike.
Maybe if we could figure out a way to make you moving backwards.
Yeah.
Give you movement speed, an insane amount of movement speed.
Like a 50% boost. Something like that.
Dang. I feel like Hecarim would want this.
But you're moving backwards.
Away from. What if there is a champ here and a champ there? I don't know.
Anyway,
we'll figure out a mobility one later. Let's get into the core of the discussion. Why we're actually here. We're going to talk about the upcoming weekend. So the first game is TSM versus Cloud9. But I'd rather just talk about that one second because it's super hype. So let's talk about the Team Liquid versus FlyQuest game.
Who's going to win?
So right off the bat, no, we'll talk about who's going to win in a second. Right off the back, though, we'll do a super quick, explain to me like I'm 5, TLDR version of someone pick Team Liquid, someone pick FlyQuest. How do they play? Super quick, let's go.
Oh, I see. Which team would you like to be?
FlyQuest or Team Liquid? I'll be TL.
All right. How does TL play? Super fast.
You just defend top side, and then just go bottom.
So make sure top survives and go gank bot.
And then you
get bot ahead.
Get their bot turret, get dragon, and then you
win the game.
and get top turret.
Wow.
Get mid turret.
So how does FlyQuest play then?
Textbook macro.
What is FlyQuest's play style?
I think you abuse the champion pool top lane because I think he has like shown like limited prowess on carry champions. So either you like put him on a carry or you kind of abuse his like tank champion. And you play for Rift Heralds, and then you make sure that your bot lane has like a good matchup, not like a hard losing matchup, or like you just want to have a winning matchup, and then you don't necessarily have to always play for top side. You just want to have like a good matchup for top, and then like a 50-50 matchup bottom, and then you make sure to defend the jungler ganking. And,
cool. Yeah. So we've got the way that those two teams play. What do you feel like are the key
mid
matchups?
lane isn't involved in this at all.
At all.
For
neither teams. So it'll be great because they're playing
do
each other.
They
They can both AFK farm.
They can both AFK.
Yeah.
What is the key matchup here when you look at these two teams? I've got one in mind. I'm curious if it's the same for you all.
I mean, it's probably Xmithie versus Santorin. It's probably the most.
Oh. I mean, yeah, junglers are always really important. But I do think like for this matchup, like top lane could be pretty important because like Impact is really good at using his windows and like helping the team get ahead. So like he doesn't really focus on the 1v1. So I think that really lets Viper, who usually excels at like skirmishes and fighting and 1v1s, to really get ahead of Impact and try to carry his team, because top lane isn't really like a lane that TL focuses too much.
So maybe the top 2v2 kind of like the thing that they should be focused on, or maybe the thing that the viewer should be focused on, kind of watching how that plays out during the games to get a good sense of how the series will go. I would say, kind of leading up to this, TL obviously in a slump, losing I think 3 out of the last 4 games that they played.
Nice.
The lost to Echo Fox in the last week, who's a really good team, but Team Liquid should have beat them, we thought, but they're in a slump right now, or maybe Echo Fox is too good.
Yeah. No, you guys wrecked them. No, they disrespected you guys with the Tom Kent
Jinx.
The
Never
1-2.
do that.
But also FlyQuest, I don't think looked maybe strong enough yet to. I think what they showed against Golden Guardians, some of it was really good, but giving away the Baron that late in Game 4 when it's match point against you, probably not something that Team Liquid would let slide, because it's a bunch of veterans. They're very smart. They've played together for a while. So what do you kind of look at for both of these teams? I think first question really is, how can Team Liquid kind of pull themselves out of a slump when they don't actually have a game? Like they had a big break and now they're going straight into a best of 5.
I mean, well, first off, they're still scrimming, so that's good. And personally, I don't necessarily think that it's like a big slump. I mean, these guys are all good players, and they've won any LCS before, went to Worlds and such. Some of them have even won Worlds, 2 of them. So I wouldn't be like too concerned of them being in like a slump. I think it's more important that they focus on how to play at the full series, not necessarily like coming in prepared. I think they have to be more prepared to like adapt. That's what like the most important thing is about this team, is that they have to be able to adapt throughout the series, figure out like what's working, what isn't. Because I think if they do figure that out, then they're just the better team.
Yeah, and I feel like it's probably a team with enough veterans and enough people who have won so many times.
And the coaching staff, I think, are good too. So.
And Jensen probably wants to win, and probably wants to maybe face Cloud9 in the finals. So what then do you think is kind of the thing for FlyQuest? If they look like the worst team, probably, but Team Liquid is in a slump. What is kind of your like plan of attack if you were on FlyQuest, as maybe instead of Turtle, because you're both AD carries? What would be kind of like what you're thinking about, like preparing for double lift and preparing for the style that we're saying Team Liquid plays?
I think for FlyQuest, they should just keep doing what's been working for them. Like they can keep picking like Lissandra counters, like in the with the Corki or something like that, or they can keep picking Varus and Braum, like champions that they've used in their past series and like that's looked really, really good, and like they know how to play around them really well. So I think as long as they have like a pretty core like draft around like Braum and Varus, and they can like hold pretty much a lot of like balling matchups, and then they can just try to carry with their top laner if if he like picks like Riven or something,
Viper,
just pops off.
Is there any concern for you about the fact that it is JJ, against Doublelift and Core JJ, probably
JJ versus JJ.
Yeah.
JJ versus his Chroma Core, or his and that's probably the strongest or scariest bot lane, or at least top 2, top 3. And he is kind of shown to be a little bit weaker in lane, and then also Viper, who I think even in the Golden Guardian series showed kind of some rookie tendencies. They were getting Drake down in bot, and he was like shoved to tower and then got ganked and died. Any thoughts about, or any kind of worries on those two teammates, players?
I mean, I think, yeah, their counterparts are definitely better. Or I would say Impact is better in a different way, but Core JJ is just going to be a better overall player right now, and that's just how it is.
Everyone picked him for best support. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think you're gonna. It's not like bad to say that, but I don't think they should stress about it. I don't think they are stressing about it. It's like I think Viper has shown, he's good, but he's definitely still like a rookie, and he's still. I don't think he's like fully playing. I think he kind of chokes a little bit, like he just kind of has those rookie tendencies, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it's something to look out for, but I mean, there's not much you can really do. You just have to play.
I do think though, with like JJ and Viper like being newer to like competitive, like they'll have a lot of rookie tendencies, but they also like do things that you don't really expect like people usually to do. So like like JJ, maybe he'll like just run in and like kill himself, right? But then if he's on Braum, that could be a really good fight. So
it's like the blabber effect.
So genius.
Yeah.
From last
so
summer.
So I think if like Viper just randomly hides in a brush and just like one shot someone, then they could just like get Baron off that. So
yeah, I agree. They do have there are upsides to having unknown variables.
Yeah. So do you think is it better to be kind of on comfort picks, like the super safe standard stuff, if you are the team who everyone is like, yes, you should win, or the team that's like, you're the underdog, you're less experienced, you have some kind of rookies here, some people who haven't been in playoffs as much? Which one do you feel like it would more benefit from, like, oh yeah, just pick Braum, it's okay, everything will be okay?
I think since it's a best of 5 series, you should always have a game plan of, you're going into the series knowing that things are going to change, right? You're not, unless it's like a 3-0 and you just swept them because you're better. Like, you should always go into the series thinking, okay, we can play our comfort in the beginning, or we can see the priority of what they're doing and the priority of the priority we should hold or put into this, this series. But first, we have to figure it out, right? Because you never know what they're going to start picking until it actually plays out. Even though you just saw them in playoffs, they played against GGS, you're still not exactly going to know what they're going to prioritize. And so, at least going to the first match, you're going to see, you just have to play the field. You have to see what you're going to do and what the enemy's going to do. But I think both teams are going to have to adapt no matter what.
Yeah, that's for sure. Do you think, so something that I often look at is like, okay, this player is the only one who can play X champion. And it was actually something I was looking at Phoenix for Azir. Bjergsen can play it, sure, but it's like, Phoenix Azir.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth it to just throw that in the first game? Like let's say you're FlyQuest, and it's like if Pobelter is on Corki maybe, and he popped off on it while he was on Liquid. Now he's against Liquid. They're gonna get scared. Let's say he pops off game 1 on Corki, and now they just have to ban it, or now they have to answer it. Is that like a worthwhile strategy to have for the losing team, or do you feel like that's maybe a little bit too risky? If it doesn't work, then you've kind of already started from behind.
I think if you wanna like actually win the series, right? You can't really be thinking like, oh, like we need or we're the team that's like behind them already. Like, I think they should have the mentality of that like we're coming in just as strong as like TL, and they need to like come out with like a really great and aggressive strategy just from like the get go.
Yeah.
And like game one, just give him Lissandra, play Corki into it. Like pick Braum bot over
still pick Braum,
and then counter pick top with Riven. And
okay.
I think that would be like a strategy like that would be really good, because if TL's looking to play safe, right, because they believe that they're like the better team, then like if you come in really aggressive, then most of the time they'll like they won't expect it. So
you kind of disrupt their play style.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You shouldn't ever really go into the match thinking you're the underdogs anyways, right? And if anything, you just have to use that to your advantage, thinking that, there's not much pressure on you. But you should still feel like, you can beat them.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do anything crazy. And that's kind of, I mean, the thing that you're talking about with, like, picking a new champion, we picked Kindred one game, we did really well with it. It was banned for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
And it is good, like, to have that, because we have one, we got it banned for the rest of the series, which means they had to ban it.
Yeah.
But
they're playing with 4 bans.
Yeah. But obviously didn't like let us win the game. But it's still like a viable thing. It's just it doesn't have to be like so far fetched. Like, you don't have to force it initially.
Yeah. So last question, and then let's go on to the next one. Who do you feel like wants this series more? Because I would say on FlyQuest side, obviously you haven't been to a finals. You've got Santorin, who just had an amazing drive episode and was, very emotional after their win. You've got Pobelter, who really wants to beat Team Liquid. Turtles playing against Doublelift, this guy who's, they've been in the scene the same amount of time. And it's like, oh, Turtles on TSM. Oh, wait, we have Doublelift now. Oh, wait, Turtles back on. Oh, wait, no, we have Doublelift now. Like, do you feel like FlyQuest maybe wants it more because they're really, really hungry? Or do you feel like Team Liquid wants it more because it's like it's their org, it's Doublelift who's always saying like I'm going to be the best and I'm going to do these things, and Jensen obviously really wants to get the title because he hasn't gotten one yet. Who do you think wants it more this series?
Good question. I kind of want to say TL still want it more, but I mean you also have to think like these guys have been winning this entire time. And they won last year. Yeah. And Core JJ, who is a world champion, is coming to North America not to get knocked out of semi-finals, right? Yeah. Like they want it. But I get like the whole all the rivalries between FlyQuest, and I'm sure they're just they're hungry as well. But I kind of have in FlyQuest standpoint, they did good already. It's not. I'm not saying that they shouldn't feel hungry or they shouldn't feel motivated to do this, but they did have they already are at a pretty good spot, so it's okay if they get knocked out. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's not okay for TL to get knocked out. It is not okay. So that's why I feel like maybe TL are a little bit more hungry for it. But,
I actually I agree with a lot of the points that you said. I just think that Pobelter got replaced by Jensen, and now he's against his former team. So I think if he really is able to get energy from that, and Santorin is he hasn't been in playoffs for such a long time.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah. If he could go really far now, it would be really big for him. So I think it's about pretty equal in the end.
All right.
Yeah, it is pretty equal. I mean, it's really hard to say.
Of course, both really want it. But I think that's also sometimes a factor. And I think your point about they have succeeded very well. If they lose, it's okay. That's something that normally, it only plagues one team. So
yeah,
it may come into a factor. All right, so if y'all are gonna choose, don't look at each other's cards.
Okay.
All right.
But hold up on 3. Who's gonna win the series?
Don't look at my card.
1, 2, 3. Oh wait, we got a FlyQuest. Oh, your horse fell over. He died.
Oh, is it like this?
Wait, no, it's definitely straight up. Are you trolling me?
Oh.
We've got a sideways.
I kind of like this better.
I like that too.
It looks nicer. It's aesthetic.
It's because it was looking at you
it was
longingly.
What's up?
Apollo.
Okay.
Laying in your lap.
This doesn't look right.
Okay, so wait. So what do you think the edge is for FlyQuest here? Why would you choose him?
There is no edge.
Or are you just looking at Liquid?
The motivational edge, the emotional edge.
Well, like to be honest, right? Well, when I was thinking of which team I was gonna pick, the whole time I was thinking TL, but at the end I flipped it to FlyQuest because I just thought that or with the way that things have been going, like in terms of trends, right? TL has been trending down, while FlyQuest has been trending up, and then...
Is this the stock market?
This is the stock market. Welcome.
And then FlyQuest had a pretty good series, so, you know, they feel pretty good coming into this match, and then usually with, like, teams that are on the downward trend, when you're losing, it's pretty hard to, like, practice for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
In a really bad environment, and then try to play on stage again against a team that just, like, won. So... I think I like that analysis. I do think that if like they win, it's gonna be dependent on like the top side, and Viper really showing that like he can pop off even as a rookie and just just pick Riven,
Yeah, just pick Riven and Braum
to be banned. And Cody's like, oh shoot.
All right, so Liquid TLDR.
They're the better team.
There we go. That was definitely a TLDR.
Yeah, I mean.
All right. Else? Well, we'll see.
The logo is facing you correctly.
the horse is correct.
I took too much time, so.
All right. So let's go on to the TSM Cloud9 matchup. Here, I'll take them. Yeah. I'll get rid of these for you.
Thank you.
Production. I'm just kidding. So the TSM Cloud9 matchup, I am particularly excited for. I think the other one is also very exciting, and I'm hoping that we get to see a very hungry FlyQuest take down the Team Liquid better team. However, or just compete.
TL is also very hungry.
Yeah.
Equally hungry.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. The TSM Cloud9 one, though.
Let's not talk about food. I'm so hungry.
TSM Cloud9, we had probably the best series that's ever been played in the LCS studio last summer.
Okay.
With the Game 5 Golden Bloom Svenskaren coming in. How did you not? It was insane. The crowd, like in person, was great.
The Soul Bros?
Yeah, so like, they come in, it's like, you've got like the camera on them, and they're like, oh, we're really big, we're going to carry these guys, literally. And they end up taking the last 2 games, they beat TSM, they go on, they didn't do anything against Team Liquid, but...
It was a very great series.
Great series.
Yeah.
I want to see that again.
Okay.
I want to see it be better. I think TSM is better this year, I think Cloud9 is better this year, so I hope it goes to Game 5, and I hope, I don't know, like maybe Blabber is popping up and down or something.
Yeah.
Maybe Golden Glue pops up, and then it's still the Swole Bros. I don't know. But let's talk about this game. First, we'll do what we did last one. Very quick. Explain to me like I'm 5. TLDR, super fast version. Someone pick TSM, someone pick Cloud9.
Who do you want to be?
I'll pick TSM.
All right. Why is Cloud9 good? Or why is Cloud9... Yeah. Or what? Sorry, what do they do? What is their play style?
Honestly, I think out of all the teams... They are pretty like almost like the most generic team, meaning like I don't think they do any flashy plays, but they have but when they do make calls, it is generally the right call. Like they have there's just a good understanding of what plays they need to make. So, wait, you're asking about TLD or how they should win?
Yeah. Or no, that was it. That was it. So just good conscious decision making.
Yeah,
normally it's correct, and they go through.
I think they also have good picks, I think as long as they're on their comfort champions, and as long as they understand how what champions they need to play throughout the series, I think they're gonna do well.
All right, TSM. What is their general play style?
I think their play style right now is pretty heavy towards priority, and they pretty much draft around having winning lanes and having a really good jungle matchup in the early game. So I think that Broken Blaze champion pool is really big. So if they just draft priority for mid and bottom, and then just counter pick top with a winning top lane, then they'll be pretty set in the series.
All right. So yeah, I mean it's nice to have the one rookie on your team, or not rookie, but I guess newer face, have the biggest champion pool. So yeah, then you don't have to. Oh, they banned the 2 champions that he can play. That's a bummer. Okay, guys. So yeah, that's a good point as well. And they do have a very exciting kind of fast-paced early game, which is something different from TSM that we haven't seen in a while. We didn't really see as much last summer. So I think this will be a great series. Very quickly as well, what if you were to be on one of these teams, or actually you don't have to be. You're professional.
I don't really want to be on that
what do you think the key matchup is going into this? If you were to focus on one as like this will be the tipping point, they went to Game 5 last time. They've had a history for however many years. Cloud9 was like the TSM killer when they were born. Like that's why they were created. Mm-hmm. What's the kind of tipping point of the scale for which team might win?
I think top lane.
You think top lane? Yeah. I think mid lane because with every like TSM iteration, right? It's always going to be mid lane, and they have Bjergsen. Acadian's going to word around mid, so I think that if they play around mid really well and then transition that to either bot or top, then they'll be in a really good place. And I think that with Niski instead of like Jensen from before, like Niski's pretty good, right? But I don't think he's as like focused on that 1v1. So like I think that lets Svenskeren move around more and play more like selfishly. But if Bjergsen is just literally calling his jungler mid lane to win that mid matchup, right? Then if you have a winning mid, then it just opens up the game.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's Bjergsen is the one who's winning mid. Do you, just really quickly, would you place a bet on this one being more exciting than last summer, or no? Do you think it has more of a chance to just be like a 3-0 or 3-1?
I think it's going to be less exciting.
Less exciting?
Yes.
Yeah. It's definitely safe because last summer would be hard to beat.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is a time when TSM needs to start worrying a little bit about Acadian and Broken Blade 2v2 and the fact that Acadian hasn't been to playoffs before? Obviously TSM, very intense team with a lot of pressure on it. Playoffs are intense. Cloud9 is intense. And the same for Broken Blade. Do you feel like they are maybe at the point where it's like getting a little bit worrying, or do you think that only happens when you go to the third place or the final match when you're in a new context, new setting?
What do you think?
From like TSM's perspective, I don't think Acadian would care too much because it's just like the semifinals. Like, who really cares about semifinals? Like, TBH, right?
Yeah, not me, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I don't think Acadian would choke or anything. So like even like the whole split, right? He isn't really like playing like before when he was on Echo Fox, like just trying to farm as much as he can and try to pop off by himself. He's more of like a team jungler now. And from the last match that I watched TSM play, all three of his camps were up and he was still mid lane to gank for Bjergsen. So I know the old Acadian would be back on his camps like full clearing. So I think that he doesn't really care too much about like the 1v1 jungle matchup or anything like that. He just mostly focuses on how he can help his team. And it's TSM, just go mid. So as long as you get mid ahead, I think they're good to go.
So you're really pulling for the TSM go mid. Acadian has been playing well though. So and I didn't see any of that from him earlier. But it's always curious, like when does the pressure really get to you? I would say TSM looks like the #1 team right now, personally. I want to say that before I got really biased from your big brains when we got a little farther along the conversation. But Cloud9 has a 2-0 over them on the season, and they were the one win, the one thing, and the second half is 12-1 or whatever. That's the one. It's the Cloud9.
I did not know that.
It is, yeah. So what do you think? Let's just get into the who do we think is going to win? I'll give you some cards. Actually.
Yeah, give me my flash.
I'll give you the flash cards.
I want it.
Actually, before we answer that, I'll say again, who do you think wants it more? Because Cloud9, their banner gets knocked off if they don't win the finals this year. They don't have a banner anymore. But TSM, of course, they had the bad year last year. Bjergsen has a beard. He literally grew a beard just so he could be more powerful to stomp on pub.
That's really hard to do for some people.
For me. So who do you think wants it more in this matchup? And let's go pretty quick because
I think TSM wants it more, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with TSM.
I think they've proven that they they had their slumps, but they are like on a hot streak right now, and I think they want it more right now.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the fact that Cloud9 was doing fine, they were the ones with the break, and they got some scouting on TSM, they got to see how they won against the team that they played. Do you think that is an advantage for Cloud9 or an advantage for TSM because they've already gotten warm up? Because for Team Liquid, we talked about maybe it's a bad thing because they had, they were going down. But for Cloud9, they weren't really as much.
I do think it's probably an advantage for C9 in this case, because I think for C9 in general, they're like really good at preparation, and with the 2 weeks, they probably, prepped a lot. So
actually prepped, yeah. Big brain, Coach Reaper's gonna, of course, pull them through there. What do you think then? Who wins this? And is it a 3-2?
Can I do it?
Yeah. Cloud9? TSM. All right. So what's your series? 3 wins,
3-2.
3-2?
Yeah.
I'll go with 3-1.
Be bold. Yes. All right, so we actually have a split here. We had a split in the last one. You guys are not agreeing.
We are not agreeing.
Which means everyone is correct on the Twitter poll. I'll go ahead and give you the results on that, though. We had TSM and Team Liquid. Actually, TSM and Team Liquid was in first place, and Cloud9 and Team Liquid was in second place. So FlyQuest.
Wow, FlyQuest.
Apparently, people are thinking that Team Liquid is going to beat FlyQuest.
That's crazy.
Apollo's like, yeah, they are.
A huge TL fan.
So, do you think that this is going to be the most exciting match of the playoffs, or do you think that the finals? Just for pure league, obviously finals is more exciting because it's finals. But
I mean, I still think finals. I mean, I think whoever plays against TL is going to be a good match.
You think so? You think TL is going to win?
No. I said I think TL's going to go to the finals.
He's sure that TL will win.
And I'm saying whoever's going to face off, I think that's going to be an exciting match. I don't think TL are going to win.
Despite the slump, you think that's
I think they can beat FlyQuest.
Yeah. Despite
their slump. And I'm not saying that FlyQuest are like the worst team in the league. I just think TL are, they're really good.
Yeah, they were first place, so it's fair. And you think the same? The finals will be more exciting than this?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like finals in general is just way more exciting than semifinals. So
good point. And it's going to be in St. Louis. Go check it out, guys.
Yeah.
Eat some barbecue while you're there.
No, but I think that I think TSM versus C9 will probably be a lot closer than FlyQuest versus TL.
Yeah.
Because FlyQuest is just going to stop that game.
Yeah, of course. I love the dissenting opinions here. All right, so that'll do it for that. Thank you all for kind of helping us get through these games a little bit.
Hey, no problem.
We don't really have any answers because you disagreed on everything, but...
we have an answer already.
Apollo seemed more confident though. All right, so let's go ahead and close it out. Before we go, I want to give you guys just an opportunity to say hey to fans,
hey fans.
or just whatever you want to say. Actually, do either of you have kind of advice of the day as we close out? Like, if you're a human fortune cookie, what would you tell your viewers, your followers? How to live their life and be as handsome and good at league and life as you guys?
I feel like I have
I have a good one. You go first.
Okay, I was gonna say.
He just wants to be better than you.
I don't know. I always have the mindset of keep working hard and always have a good work ethic, and I think just constantly pushing yourself.
Mine is gonna be.
It's not better than mine.
You must earn what you desire.
So philosophical.
Yours is definitely more fortune cookie.
Yeah, I didn't get mine out of fortune cookie at all.
Yours was like, do hard work, it'll work out eventually, just keep working. And
I was going to say never stop, never stopping. Have you guys seen that movie?
No, I have not.
Okay, never mind. It's a good movie.
Anything else you guys want to say before we head out?
Never stop, never stop.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I want to say thanks again to Esports One for helping put this together. It was a lot of work. We had to, buy shirts and stuff.
That must have been.
We had to make I had to make an item. I had to think so hard.
I know,
on
that was a great
shot.
item, honestly.
Thank you. Riot, please, if you're looking for a game dev, I'm not one, but like I'll build
also,
one Ezreal item for
Draven.
you. Delete Draven. Don't actually make this item go into the game. Please buff Nidalee because we haven't seen her in forever. But yeah, so thank you to Esports One.
TL is going to beat FlyQuest. That's all of my predictions.
TL is going to beat FlyQuest. That does it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. To all of you out there who are still around. And go check out the series, of course. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram for Apollo.
Oh, yeah. Both of those. Apollo Price.
Follow us. But yeah, thanks a bunch. Thanks for voting in the poll. Thanks for watching. And that's it. Also, thanks for putting up with our mic issue. But it's back on now. Peace.